This is my pedal board. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Thing is, it's really heavy. I mean, what do we expect when we mount metal boxes to more metal? I like my metal heavy, but this is a little bit too heavy. Now, my normal board does everything I want it to do, and more. I'm very happy with it. And there's certainly bigger boards out there. Most boards are actually bigger than it. It's only 20 inches long, but it's on the heavy side. So for practices where I'd be traveling on public transport, here's what I'd normally bring. First, I'd start off with a guitar and some cables in the case. Then I'd take the pedal board. I'd take the track bag. Yes, Boomer, we use tracks in the band. And that's what I bring to a practice. But it gets even heavier if it's a small gig where I need to bring an amp as well. I strap on the Victory Kraken. While it's small and light, it's still a lot to be carrying around and walking with. And I know that some of you are going to say that it wasn't a gig unless you single-handedly lifted 6 Marshall heads and 15 cabinets, and I'm sure your chiropractor thinks you're badass. But I'd like to have something light. So, solution. Most of the weight that I'm carrying around is the pedal board. So I want to make a practice board and something that I can maybe use for small gigs. Let's give it a go. So this is the main pedal board, and this does everything I need it to do. So our challenge is to get this board to do some of what this board does. Now obviously I can do 2 amplifiers with this setup. We're not looking to do that with the smaller one, but we want a little bit of versatility. I got this from AliExpress for about $10, and in classic AliExpress fashion, it's great value because not only is it a pedal board, it's a maraca too. I'm gonna try and unscrew these feet and maybe I can get whatever's inside out, because that'll annoy me. But let's get this into this. So these are my spare pedals that I've got lying around, and we're going to assemble something cool. The first thing I'd put on any pedal board is a good tuner, which means not this. I bought this for €14 off AliExpress, same time I bought the pedal board, and it's way better than this. This is a Planet Waves tuner that came out in sometime mid-2000s, and it's built like a tank. It is the heaviest single pedal I've ever owned. It's got a super rugged switch inside. The thing is built to last. It's a real shame that it's terrible. This is what we're replacing that with. So that's gonna go probably there. The downside to this cheap board is this gap is actually way bigger than anything on a pedal train, so it's not got a lot of support. You know, you can fit a mini pedal through the gap and you can barely fit it on. The next choice we have is gain, and we've got a few options here. We've got the classic Boss DS1, but I'm saving him for a very special video that's not gonna happen just yet, so he's out of the question. This pedal here is probably the only boutique pedal I have, really, and I don't love it. It's decent for clean amps, turning clean amps into gain amps, but it doesn't really do anything other than that, so I don't think that provides a lot of versatility for me, so that's out. The Digitech Hardwire CM2, and this is basically the Digitech Bad Monkey, but the big boy version. I really like this pedal. I think they've gone up in value since because people have realized just how good they are, but because it's just an overdrive and we are kind of limited on space here, I think I'm going to go with this. This is the Custom Audio Electronics MXR Boost / Overdrive. And I've used this before on a board. I really like the boost in it. The overdrive could be better if you actually crank the drive, it kind of goes fuzzy. And that's great if you like fuzz, but I really don't. But I think that's what we're going to go for today. King of Tone? Tone of Kings. I doubt it. We should probably talk about power before we go any further. And I've really only got one power supply. It's this. It's the Dunlop DC Brick, which is really just a glorified daisy chain, but it's all we've got. And I think it'll do the job just for practices, so that'll probably end up on the end. Now we've got what I would view as the extras. Once I've got gain and a boost, I'm pretty happy and I can do a gig anywhere. So this is just something to add flavor to what I'm playing. This is a T-Rex phaser, and it's actually really good. You've got a vintage and a modern setting, and it sounds great. The problem is, it's really, really ugly. I don't know who designed that, but that ain't it, chief. Just because it's ugly, I'm not gonna use that. Now I'm kind of undecided because both these pedals are great. This is the MXR Micro Chorus. One knob to control it, and that's it. And then I've got this TC Electronic Flashback 2, so it's got the mash setting. And I think just because this has got a modulated delay setting, I can kind of somewhat emulate a chorus, especially with the mash feature. So I think we're going to go with this. And it does give us the option, I suppose, to do a stereo, 2 amps, just like the other board does. Although I probably would never do that because I have no way of inverting phase. So that's what we're going to use. So this is our board. I'll come back to you when I've got this all velcroed up. Boom. Yeah, you can just call me Dan and Mick. I'm joking, it looks bad. Okay, so we're going to start putting pedals on. So I think that's how it's going to go. But I've got some patch cables. I've got some of the thinner ones. And then I've got these big boys. So now we'll do power. All right, let's test this. See if it actually works. Yes, it does work. Okay. So now that we know that it works, I'm gonna tidy up this cabling a little bit. One thing that this pedal board came with that pedal trains don't, and they probably should, it would be cool if they did, is zip ties and these tie-down mounts. They're probably not the highest quality tie-down mounts or zip ties. I've got better ones on the main board, but again, this is our budget baby board. We could go underneath, or we could do in the side. I think we're gonna go underneath, so we'll use a few tie-down mounts and zip ties. I like that. That's neat. It's still a maraca board, but I think that's gonna do what I need to do. So how about we hear it? So yeah, it's good. I can kind of get it to fit in the guitar bag, but I'd probably put it in the track bag anyway. But it's light, and that was our main goal. Would it class as a fly rig? I suppose it would.
Alright, here's the 411, folks. Say some gangster is dissing your fly
Rig.
You just give him one of these.
I could get it on a plane. And if I'm ever stuck for some percussion, I've still got a maraca. Do you have a mini board? Would you consider a mini board? And subscribe. Bye bye.